Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Sounds impossible, right? But hidden among billions of everyday coins is one tiny piece of metal that has stunned collectors, shocked experts, and rewritten the rules of what pocket change can be worth. Today, we're diving into the mysterious and incredibly rare 2013 Roosevelt Dime, a coin so ordinary at first glance that most people wouldn't even look twice, yet under the right conditions, this very coin has been whispered about as having a jaw-dropping potential value of up to $60 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single dime, smaller than your thumb, possibly worth more than luxury mansions, exotic cars, and even lifetime fortunes combined, and the craziest part is that coins like this could still be hiding in circulation right now, quietly slipping through hands, cash registers, and piggy banks without anyone realizing what they're holding. So stick with me because later in this story, I'll reveal the hidden details that separate a normal 2013 dime from the ultra-rare version collectors would go crazy for, and trust me, what's coming next in this series of coins will make this one look almost ordinary, but let's not get ahead of ourselves yet because this story begins with something most people ignore every single day. The 2013 Roosevelt Dime was minted in Philadelphia, one of the most historic minting facilities in the United States, a place that has been producing coins since the late 1700s, and by 2013, modern minting technology had become incredibly advanced, designed to produce billions of nearly perfect coins with precision and consistency. But here's where things get interesting because even in a world of high-tech machines, mistakes still happen, and in the coin collecting world, mistakes are where fortunes are born. You see, not every 2013 dime is valuable. In fact, most are worth exactly 10 cents, but a tiny fraction of them, the ones with rare minting errors, unusual compositions, or near-perfect conditions, are the ones that can skyrocket in value, and collectors spend years hunting for these hidden treasures. One of the most talked about possibilities for the 2013 dime is the existence of an off-metal strike error, where the coin was accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal planchet. Imagine a dime that should be made of a copper-nickel blend instead being struck on a silver planchet or even a foreign coin blank, creating a one-of-a-kind piece that should never have existed in the first place. These kinds of errors are extremely rare because the mint has strict quality control, but when they slip through, they become legendary among collectors, and if such an error were found in pristine condition, its value could climb into the millions, especially when bidding wars erupt between wealthy collectors who want something truly unique. Then there's the possibility of a double die error, where the design is stamped twice slightly off alignment, creating a noticeable doubling effect on the letters or the image of President Roosevelt. To the average person, it might look like a minor defect, but to collectors, it's a golden ticket, because it proves the coin's uniqueness, and the clearer and more dramatic the doubling, the higher the value. And some of these doubled coins have sold for astonishing amounts at auction, especially when they are certified and graded at the highest levels. Speaking of grading, condition plays a massive role in determining value. A coin graded MS-70, which means it is in perfect mint state with no visible flaws even under magnification, can be worth exponentially more than the same coin in circulated condition. And finding a 2013 dime in such flawless condition is incredibly difficult because most coins go straight into circulation where they get scratched, worn, and damaged over time, so when a perfect specimen surfaces, collectors take notice immediately. There have even been stories, and this is where things get really exciting, of people discovering rare coins in the most unexpected places, like old jars, forgotten drawers, or even loose change from everyday purchases. Imagine paying for a cup of coffee and getting back a dime that could change your entire life. It sounds like something out of a movie, but it has happened before. And that's what keeps collectors and treasure hunters constantly searching, because the next big discovery could be just one coin away. Now here's something most people don't realize: the demand for rare coins has been growing steadily over the years, driven by wealthy collectors, investors, and even museums looking to acquire unique pieces of history. And when demand increases while supply remains incredibly limited, prices can skyrocket to unbelievable levels, especially for coins that have a compelling story behind them. And the 2013 P dime, with its potential errors and modern rarity, fits perfectly into that category. But don't get it twisted, not every 2013 P dime is going to make you rich, and this is where knowledge becomes your greatest weapon. You need to know exactly what to look for, the tiny details that separate a common coin from a rare one, things like unusual weight, strange coloration, misaligned designs, or even subtle differences in texture, because these small clues can mean the difference between 10 cents and millions. And this is why serious collectors often use magnifying glasses, digital scales, and professional grading services to examine their coins in detail. And here's the part that should really get your attention: there are still countless coins out there that haven't been examined closely, sitting quietly in circulation, waiting for someone with a sharp eye to notice something unusual. So the next time you get change, don't just toss it aside, take a closer look, because you never know what you might find. And remember, this is just the beginning of our journey, because coming up next is another dime that takes rarity and value to a whole new level, a coin surrounded by even more mystery and even bigger collector hype. And trust me, you do not want to miss what's coming, because if this 2013 P dime has already blown your mind, the next coin will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about pocket change. Next, 1997 P Roosevelt Dime. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, and that's exactly what makes the 1997 P Roosevelt Dime one of the most fascinating and mysterious coins in modern collecting, because at first glance it looks completely ordinary, just another small silver-colored coin jingling in your pocket. But hidden within a tiny number of these dimes is a secret that has driven collectors into a frenzy, a secret that has pushed its rumored value as high as $70 million under the rarest conditions. And yes, that number sounds unbelievable, but by the time you hear the full story behind this coin, you'll understand why experts and collectors alike keep chasing it like buried treasure. And if you thought the previous coin was already insane, this one takes things to a completely different level. So stay locked in, because the truth behind this dime might just change the way you look at your spare change forever. The 1997 P Roosevelt Dime was minted in Philadelphia during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing coins at an incredibly high volume, meaning millions upon millions of these dimes entered circulation. And that's exactly why most people overlook them, because when something is common, nobody expects it to be valuable. But history has shown us time and time again that even in massive production runs, tiny errors can slip through, and those errors are where legends are born. Now, one of the most talked about possibilities surrounding the 1997 P dime is the existence of a transitional composition error, a situation where a coin is struck using a metal composition that doesn't match its intended design. Imagine a dime that should be made of a copper nickel clad accidentally being struck on a leftover silver planchet or some experimental metal used during testing, creating a coin that technically should not exist. And because of that, collectors would pay insane amounts just to own a piece of that mistake. But that's just the beginning, because another theory that has circulated in the numismatic community involves an extreme double die error combined with a misaligned strike, meaning the design elements like Roosevelt's profile, the lettering, and even the torch on the reverse could appear duplicated or shifted in a way that is both obvious and incredibly rare. And coins with such dramatic visual errors are like magnets for collectors, especially when they are authenticated and graded by professional services, because authenticity is everything in this world, and once a coin is verified as a genuine mint error, its value can skyrocket almost overnight. Now here's where things get even more intense. Condition once again plays a massive role, but with the 1997 P dime, the bar is even higher, because finding one with a rare error is already extremely unlikely, but finding one in near-perfect mint state condition is like hitting the lottery twice. Coins that have been preserved without scratches, wear, or damage can achieve grades like MS68 or higher. And at those levels, collectors start competing aggressively, pushing prices higher and higher. Sometimes into ranges that sound more like luxury real estate than pocket change. There have even been stories, and these are the kinds of stories that keep collectors up at night, of rare dimes being discovered in everyday places, like old coin rolls from banks, inherited collections, or even loose change sitting forgotten in a drawer. Imagine someone casually opening a roll of dimes and stumbling upon a coin that could be worth more than everything they own combined. It sounds unreal. But that's exactly what fuels the excitement of coin collecting, because the next discovery could happen to anyone, anywhere, at any time. And let's talk about demand for a second, because this is where the numbers start to make sense. Rare coins are not just collectibles, they are investments, pieces of history that wealthy individuals and institutions are willing to pay huge sums to acquire. And when you combine extreme rarity, historical intrigue, and the thrill of owning something unique, you create the perfect storm for astronomical prices. And the 1997 P dime fits right into that storm, especially if it carries one of the rare error types collectors dream about. But here's the reality check that most people don't want to hear. Not every 1997 P dime is valuable. In fact, the vast majority are still worth just 10 cents, and this is where knowledge separates the lucky from the unaware, because if you don't know what to look for, you could easily spend a fortune without even realizing it. You need to pay attention to the smallest details, unusual shine, odd weight, strange markings, or anything that looks even slightly off, because those tiny differences are often the biggest clues, and ignoring them could mean missing out on something life-changing. So the next time you come across a 1997 P Roosevelt dime, don't just toss it aside or spend it without a second thought. Take a moment, examine it closely, because hidden within that small piece of metal could be a story, a mistake, and potentially a fortune waiting to be discovered. And as we wrap up this journey, just think about how many coins pass through your hands every single day. How many of them you never even look at, and how one of them could quietly hold the key to a completely different life, because in the world of rare coins, the biggest treasures are often the ones hiding in plain sight, just waiting for someone curious enough to notice them.